Well, welcome everyone to the Tuniacs Good Sam ESP webinar hosted by Stuckey and Company. It is 1 o'clock Central Time, and we'll go ahead and get started. Just a couple quick notes before we start the PowerPoint. You can use the GoToWebinar control panel to ask questions or to chat. We will follow up this webinar with a link to the recording, the PowerPoint presentation as a PDF, an appetite guide, and we've also already uploaded in the handout section of the GoToWebinar control panel a ESP registration document, but that'll also be attached to the follow-up email. But you can use that to download and get people set up today. So let's go ahead and get started. So in 2018, Stuckey and Company is celebrating 27 years as a MGA, offering our agents access to solid A-rated carriers like MetLife and Hartford, Safeco, Travelers, and Chubb, just to name a few. We have 8 specialty programs, and these are the things that we do for the program. A lot of the times we'll create it, and if we don't create it, we'll take what has been created and given to us by an agent and bring it nationwide. We're licensed nationwide as a in or out-of-state agent. And we also have our surplus lines licenses nationwide. So we can take a local program and bring it national, or create a program from scratch. And then we do everything that kind of is attached to that, including systems integration. Sometimes we do the claims. We almost always do the marketing or some portion of the marketing, and we train on the product as well. These are the programs that we have in-house, and Safety Tech is an insurance program for the technology industry. Aspire A&E is for architects and engineers. Harbor Guard for marinas and boat dealerships. MPL is just miscellaneous professional liability. We have about 320 classes of miscellaneous professional that we insure. Element for the green energy industry. We do personal lines, which is home, auto, boat, and we're starting to do a lot more high-value home. We have a commercial lines department. We do BOP, comp, auto, and bonds, EPLI and D&O for small business, middle market, and national accounts. And we also have a surplus lines market in 26 states. So I'd like to quickly go through the Tuniacs business insurance program, and then I'll hand it over to Frank and Paul to explain and go through the Good Sam ESP. So Tuniacs, one of the things we want to show today is the value of our product, the opportunity, the ESP product, and how to generate income for not only you, but also for your shop, the shops that you insure. So these are just the general values of kind of Stuckey and Company values. Our carriers are always 8-rated. Most of them are A+15, which is the best insurance industry rating available by AM Best. We value low minimum premiums, so those small businesses, we like to write small business, right? So we like to write a lot of something instead of a large percentage of nothing. We pay as much commission as we possibly can. Most of the time we pay 15% new and renewal commissions. on nearly all of our products. Sometimes we pay more, and sometimes on like larger workers' comp, we pay less. But we quote it on every account. We always specialize in a industry, and I think it gives us a competitive advantage when we do that. And we value the fact that our shops have a ASE certification. We try to make it easy, try to make the underwriting guidelines transparent, and we have a 151 promise, which means if we get a complete submission in by 1 o'clock, or a request, endorsement request, or whatever it is, by 1 o'clock, we get it out by 5. If we get it in by 5, we get it out by 1 the next day. These are the standard auto-related SIC codes. We can write some things that are not on here, like body shops, but these are kind of the standard classes that Hartford recognizes in their initial pilot program underwriting guidelines. These are the kind of a graphic representation of all of the eligibility classes. And I'll send this to you so you can have it, but we're trying to write pretty much everything in the auto services industry. We're having some issues right now with tow trucks, for example, larger diesel type service operations, and maybe some mobile operations. But besides that, we're having a lot of success. Our core coverage is, as you would expect, is GL, property, BOP policy, workers' comp, commercial auto, and umbrella. And these are our specialty coverages. So garage operations, garage keepers, employee tools, faulty work, and hired and non-owned auto liability, as well as that auto services stretch that really helps with pricing and a broad range of coverage. So that was a very quick explanation of what the Tuniacs business owners policy is all about. And now I'd like to introduce Dwight Stuckey, lead auto services underwriter at Stuckey and Company, Frank McMillan and Paul Sherman, VP of Sales and Marketing at Good Sam ESP, for presenting and making themselves available for questions during and after the webinar. So let me turn it over to Paul, and we can step through the presentation.
Great. Thanks, Dwight, and thanks everybody for joining today and taking the time out of your busy days to join this call and learn about Good Sam's extended service plan. Hopefully you'll find a good benefit for your customers that will additionally make you some additional dollars. Can you see my screen, Dwight?
Thank you.
Sure.
I cannot yet. Oh, there we go. Got it. That did it.
Excellent. Let's see if I could get the slide should work. There we go. So, and Frank, are you on the call as well?
I am on, although I might be on mute. Yep, I'm on. You betcha.
Great. So Frank McMillan is joining. He works within the Good Sam organization on our extended service plans and our product protection plans, and has been a big help for, I believe, the past 18 or 20 years working with us as we develop and enhance these programs. So as we go through this, I'll leverage Frank to jump in at certain parts to add some value to the content that we have today. So with that being said, what we're going to go through is an overview of our extended service plan, the types of vehicles that will qualify, what's covered, and then importantly, who can quote and how do you quote, as well as the administration and reporting that that you'll receive once you sign up to sell the Good Sam extended service product. And then, of course, what's in it for your business and your shop's business. How are you going to make money with this, and what does that look like? And in fact, we'll take a pause point there when we get to that section, jump out to a spreadsheet and show you some some simple dollars, some simple math on what the dollars equate to. And then, of course, you're all going to be excited when you see that, so you'll want to know how you get started. And then we'll do some Q&A. So Good Sam's extended service plan is very similar to a typical warranty in the sense of the terminology. However, it's very different in how it's created. So this is a mechanical breakdown insurance that is all the policies are written by QBE, which is an international A+ insurance carrier. And most importantly, not only do they underwrite it, but they pay the claims directly. So this product was created, the Good Sam Extended Service Plan, as a division of our Good Sam Club. So it's created by our members exclusively for our members to cover the cost of parts, labors, and repairs for mechanical failures for motorized vehicles such as RVs, and then towable RVs such as campers, fifth wheels, pop-up campers, as well as trucks, SUVs, cars, and autos of all sorts. What's great about the extended service plan is that it's you can use this plan and recognized by most of the dealers and repair facilities in all 50 states, including Canada. Frank, anything to add there?
No, go. Keep on rocking. Yeah,
All
you're
right.
on it.
Great. So with our mechanical breakdown policy, it's going to cover the bulk of all the expensive pieces that you would have from a mechanical failure: your heating and cooling units, engine, electrical, suspension, braking, steering assembly, transmission, the fuel delivery system, drive axles, seals and gaskets, and of course the dash AC. Some of the things that basically all those expensive components that if you did break down, you would want covered. As far as quoting the extended service plan, it's exceptionally easy. I'm going to show you how to do it on our website, which is the same type of process you're going to go through. And as long as you have a computer and an internet connection, you'll be able to quote these, go ahead and quote the extended service plan. As you sign up, and at the end, I'll show you the form that Dwight will send out to everyone that you'll fill out as a quick form, send back. You'll get a personalized login that you'll be able to use, and then we could track back all of your reporting. The auto service customers can quote and bind the customers when they are in for service, which is really nice since it is such a simple process, and probably the best way for your auto service customers to grab businesses, obviously, while somebody's in there getting something repaired or serviced. And then the unique user ID will tie to all the quotes and sales done by you or your customers to your account. So on the quoting piece, I'm going to jump out here just so you can see how simple this is, and hopefully, can you still see my screen? Hopefully it's showing the
Yes.
Good Sam website. Great. So this is what you'll land on over here to the right where it says get a free quote. We'll walk through and do a simple quote here. So as you'll see, there's not a lot of content that's required. We don't require this your customers to take it in to have their vehicle inspected. You'll just go online and select the vehicle type. As you see, there's quite a few different options to choose from since we do everything from RVs all the way down to cars, trucks, and SUVs. So for this example, let's go ahead and select a car. You know, why we ask this, if it has a tow hitch, is we assume if it has a tow hitch, it's going to tow something, and which has a lot more wear and tear on a vehicle. So in this case, we'll answer that we don't have a tow hitch. And then manufacturer, let's do a Ford Edge, and then the year we'll just put in 2010. The owner information, obviously, will grab this. I'll just type this in really quick here. Put my personal email in there. Maybe. I guess it wants me to. Down here on this portion, your customers, or you can check if they want to receive any additional information. One of the great parts about Good Sam Extended Service Plan, or one of the added values, is you have to be a Good Sam Club member. So when the quoting process goes through to the binding process, there will be a section to join as a Good Sam Club member. As a club member, you're going to get benefits on gas, Good Sam campgrounds if your customers camp. We also, under the Good Sam umbrella, we have Camping World, which is obviously an RV dealership, which has a retail store inside of it. We own Gander Outdoors, which used to be Gander Mountain before they went bankrupt. We bought them out of bankruptcy and are on track to open around 65 stores by the end of the year. Overton's, Uncle Dan's, Air Horns, thehouse.com. So with that membership, they're going to get, your customers will get the ability to have more of a benefit, or a benefit in addition to just having mechanical breakdown insurance. So you'll be able to opt in here or opt out. And then if you don't want the quote mailed to your physical address, because we'll send this, they'll get it electronically, as well as a quote kit mailed, which is a pretty expensive quote kit. It's about 6 pages, high quality paper. It's produced almost magazine quality when they get it. This is the primary section that we really ask for. Outside of that beginning part on the vehicle type, you're just going to put in the mileage. So let's say in this case, we have 90,000 miles. Let's say it's 4-wheel drive and you own it. So your customers will have, as you're doing this quote, if one of your clients is looking at purchasing a new vehicle and they want to see what it would cost to put an extended service plan on it, you could go ahead and quote it and just put that they don't, that it's a potential purchase versus owning it. And then we have 3 deductibles to choose from. So $100 all the way up to $500. And as you can see in here, there's several ways to pay for this protection plan. You could do it monthly, quarterly, or pay the total premium. There is no contract required. So if your customers do select monthly, it's a monthly pay. They can cancel at any time. And let's, for this case, say it's a $250 deductible. You have the option to add seals and gaskets, which I would highly recommend doing, especially your shops will probably, I would guess, push that one, since that's a major point of failure in older vehicles. And then tire protection if they wanted to add tire protection. So let's add seals and gaskets. It updates all the payment information. Gives you your quote number. It validates, you're going to validate all the information. $250 deductible, 12-month term. And then down here, it has a little bit of additional information for your customers if you wanted, or if you wanted to go in and get some more information on some of the benefits. And then click Buy Now. You're going to enter in your payment information. Validate your phone number and then address that'll tie to your payment information. So we'll go ahead and put this in. Now you all know where I live. And then if you are, a lot of these, the majority of our program is marketed to our Good Sam Club members. So if you have somebody that already has a Good Sam Club membership, it's going to ask you over here if they do. They're not going to want to sign up for an additional membership if they already have one. and it's active. And then, of course, if you have the VIN number, you can put it in there. The nice part is you'd have the ability to bind coverage without the VIN number, and then go ahead and add the VIN number in within 48 hours. There we go. So then this is to the purchase site. On the billing, you're going to agree to the terms and conditions. If they want to see what they are, they're right here. You can click a hyperlink and it'll pop up with the terms and conditions. And then the effective date. The nice part is you can select a future effective date. So sometimes, especially if you have your shop or you have an RV that's covered, or really any type of vehicle, and it has an extended service plan on it, or a service plan that expires, you know, a couple months ahead, you could go ahead and set that effective date in a future sense. Select your payment method. And then if you select monthly, like I said, 12 monthly payments, there's no contract here. They sign up, they pay. If they want to cancel in a month or 2 months or 5 months, they can cancel at any point. And then how they want to pay. Enter that, hit submit, and then it's going to give you your completion based on the information that you entered and the effective date of when the policy will go into effect. And let me get back here.
Paul, one question that we had was, how much is the membership for Good Sam?
I believe it's $27 a year.
It's currently $27 for the first year, or you can buy 2 years for $50, or 3 years for $69.99. And if you buy the 2 year or the 3 year, they give the customer a $25 gift certificate to be used in the Camping World stores, or a $15 certificate to be used in Gander.
Right on. Thank you.
You know, I would just like to add this too, Paul, in case this wasn't clear to everybody. While Paul was doing the quotation, there's a couple different ways that those quotations take place, and I know he's about to get into this, but I'm going to say it anyway. So the quotation, we're trying to contemplate who's doing the quotation. So if your shop that you've signed up to do a quotation is entering this, whether the customer wants to bind it or not at that particular time, or buy it at that particular time, the shop will get a commission that we're going to show you a bit for going through the process of entering them. Then you are going to get your insurance insurance agent, commission on that. If you have a book of business that's already surrounded with a bunch of your clients that you already have written auto insurance for, you may have a database that you can go after directly with your customers, and then you get the full insurance on it. In that case, you can do the entry and get paid full commission on it, or you can even give the customers a link to your entry, and then if we close it in our call centers, then you'll still get commission on that too. And I'm sure Paul will talk about that, but I just want you to know that process, as simple as it is, we want you to know that there's a variety of different ways to get that information in there and still collect your commissions on it. Sorry to stop you, Paul, if you're on a roll there.
No, that's a great point, Frank. Thank you. So, and I'm going to get into that as well. Okay. But if you do get to the point where you or your shop don't feel comfortable going all the way through the process, you can. The lead is protected for 14 days, so you can even have them call in or do a warm transfer, or have our call center call them back, and then there's a different variable of commission for that. But it does allow your shops not to have to be an expert in this and be able to sell the high points and pass it off to our call center that can help with that. Let's see here. So once you or your shops sign up customers, you're going to get full reporting, and I'll pull up the actual spreadsheet because it might be a little hard to see on the screen. That shows you the primary fields that that we capture and send back to you, but that's sent out weekly, so you could get that for commissions reporting. And then commissions are paid monthly within 45 days of close. The primary areas, and let me pull it up here on this reporting. So this is what the report, an actual report of what you would get would look like. And hopefully you can see this. Let me see if I can expand it a little bit more. It's going to have the policy number, the customer name, what date it was quoted, what date the policy actually sold, and then what date the payment processed. The source of lead is important as I go over to the right, where I talk about the difference between quoting premium and sales premium. So you or your shops will be the source of that lead. The quoting salesperson, if you or your shops quoted it themselves instead of having it call the call center, that's where you're going to see that source of lead will be representative of you or the call center if you refer it. And then the quoting premium is, in this example, let's say you as the agent quoted it, and the premium at the top one that's showing here is $332. That premium, they didn't buy it well, in this case, you quoted it and then they bought it from you. The one right below it, let's say you as the agent quoted it, they had some additional questions, and so you referred them to the call center. That's why you see quoting premium here, but over here in sales premium, it's $0. It's showing that in this example, the agent didn't close it and referred them to the call center closed it. So the sales premium is showing 0. You're still getting paid commission on that, and I'll go into what that looks like on the next slide here. But that's why this report is broken out that way. So it's easy to tell, which deals that you had that you started and referred over, and which ones you started and closed and took all the way through the process. Frank, anything I missed on that one that you feel I should touch on?
No, I think the main function of that is just to show everybody that this isn't new for us. We've got all these reports, in line, ready to go, and we're ready for you.
That's right. We have been doing this for quite a while, and across the country. So, in fact, I should have touched on this in the beginning just to tell you a little bit about the program. Is the person who started this extended service plan program, who I report to, started this program 22 years ago. It's still here, still running, it's still advancing the program, and comes from about, I think, 20 years in the industry prior to that. So we have a long history of doing this, both the 22 years within Good Sam as well as, Scott's history outside of the program. So there is 2 types of commissions. There's 2 tiers to the commission structure, I should say. So the average premium for an auto policy currently is $930. We allocate 21% of that available on the first term for policies closed by the agency to the customer. So an average of $195 commission. Commission of 11% is available on the first term for policies that are quoted by the agency and closed by Good Sam, so an average of $102. So that's where I was talking about if you just want to originate it and you want to pass it over to our call center, they'll take it and run with it, and you still get the commission. It'll show on that commission, that weekly report that I just had a second ago on that spreadsheet. The nice part is there's no chargebacks after 60 days. And full commission paid for any policies bound online after quote by agency. On your auto service, we have a plan or suggested commission plan for your auto service customers. We'll pay them, because you have to remember it's an insurance-based product, so we'll pay $10 to the auto service center per qualified quote that they do. 15% commission paid to the agency when the sale is closed by the agency, so average of $140. And then if your auto service customer originates it and then it's kicked over to the call center, you have them work with the call center, you're still getting paid 5%, the agency's getting paid 5%, so an average of $46. And then the payment per quote can be adjusted if average commission exceeds 15%. So the nice thing with this structure is it's giving you every way to engage with your auto service customers, as well as for your customers. If you don't have the time and you just don't want to be an expert in this area, but you feel confident enough and strong enough to give a few bullet points to originate it, kick it over, let us run with it, and we'll close it, and you still get paid commission on it.
So that basically answers the question. I had a question. What if the shop likes the idea of the income, but they just don't have time to sell it? You know what I mean?
Yep.
They don't have time to follow up or maybe even quote it. Is there a way to give those warm leads to you, or how does that work?
I might have to get back to you on the warm lead portion. I'm sure there's a way that we could set up with the call center, let them know their agent ID. They would create the quote under that source of lead or agent ID, and then follow up with it or handle it from there and work with the customer. And I think more often than not, your service center customers will want to just take as little time as they can, sell the high points, get a quote started, and then let the call center go through it so that it's not taking a bunch of their time. And we've created it so that it is this way where they could just kick it to the call center or kick it back to you and let you run with it.
Right on. Thank you.
Hey, Dwight and Paul, just for clarification, Dwight, you might want to email that person back or link back to him to see what they meant, just so that we can answer, right? Just for clarification. So do they mean, let's say the shop has, they see 60 customers a day, right? Kind of like we're about to go into here. And they do work orders on that. So they know the customer information, they know the age, the VIN numbers and all that kind of stuff, the work orders, but they don't want to enter it into quotes. Were they asking, can they just send over, let's say, a CSV file that becomes, a warm target list? I wonder if that's what they're asking, because I don't know the answer to it, but I'm sure we could probably work with something like that. I'd have to leave that up to Paul and Scott, but I just want for clarification if they could, give you a little more detail what they're thinking. But otherwise, it's kind of designed so that the shop can have the customer fill this stuff in, or they can fill it in. As you saw that Paul went through, it takes literally about 3 minutes at the most to enter this stuff in, and they're going to get paid a certain amount per lead. And, it might be worth their while to do these actual qualified leads. I don't know, but I don't know exactly what the question was, but it might help to clarify a little bit.
Okay, yeah, I'll definitely follow up.
Okay. So Frank, since you're on a roll there, do you want to go ahead and take this screenshot, and then I can pull up the Excel spreadsheet and we can do some live examples?
Yeah, we don't want to take too long on this for you, but what we put together here with Dwight is just basically an example. I think Paul was telling you that the average premium is around $900, or the average quote is about $900 on these sales. So we took a little example here where we put in the average daily customers that a shop serves might be 30 a day. There's some of the shops that Dwight's been around looking at, they service, up to 60 or 80 customers a day. So if you think about that, if you go 6 days a week, that's a lot of customers. If the shop is open 6 days a week, only at 30, we're pushing 10,000 customers. So additional non-commission, if they got paid $15 a lead, is a substantial amount of money if they were actually doing 100% of them. And then down below that, for yourself, you could put in, hey, based upon that up above, if I serve 20 auto clients, auto service clients, that you'd be presenting Tuniacs to, and also the Good Sam Enterprises, and the average daily customers there, it really starts to add up with the number of autos that they see annually. And if we start to look at the annual premium of the Good Sam Extended Service Plan, that becomes a real massive amount of money at a 20% close rate. And if you drop that down below, you can take a look at what some of the actual commission payouts would be, based upon if you guys are selling it yourself to your customers, or if you start to split it between the shop selling it, or us closing it, so on and so forth. So yeah, you can switch over to the actual Excel sheet if somebody wants to, speak up and say, hey, enter some stuff. Otherwise, what we can do is send you the Excel spreadsheet out there. But what I really want to do is focus on the very bottom, Paul, in lines 22 through 25 down there, because it really gives you an idea. If you look at just some basic, real small averages, if you have a decent attachment rate of about a 20% close rate, it can really add up. If you guys are selling it yourself, you can add up to, literally hundreds of thousands of dollars. Or if you do a nice hybrid between using your shops, you sign up your shops for, Tuniacs or other insurance and to sell this, and they're actually getting pretty serious about it. Between what you can bring in and what they can bring in, this can really, really add up. So what we'd like to do is we can either show you how this works, like you can change the average daily shop customers, Paul, up above 30, you can change to 20 or 80, and you can change the number of clients in there to, 10 or 20, whatever you want to do, and you can show everybody that this is actually a very interactive program, and it'll recalculate the amount of money they can make at the bottom. So when you guys put in a request to sign up, we can send this out to you. You can play with it yourself, and you can see what this could actually mean to your shop. I don't want to spend too much time on it, Paul, but we have this so you can take a look at it and say, what's in it for me? You can actually see that this is a substantial program if you get into it.
It's a very lucrative piece. Dwight, before I go off of this, is there any questions that have come in that we can utilize in the spreadsheet or answer?
Yeah, so how does the shop get signed up? And I can answer that. We have that registration. The registration form that's actually included as one of the handouts, but I'll also include with the follow-up email. So it's extremely easy to get. Yep, good segue, right?
Yeah, so this is what the registration looks like. There's not a lot to it. Fill this out and then send it back over to Dwight. And then what we'll do for everyone on this call that sends these back, we'll go ahead and send out a $10 merchant card or gift card to your choice of vendors. So we have Amazon, Applebee's, Barnes & Noble, iTunes, Panera, Walmart, Target, Home Depot, Amazon. There's a slew of them to choose from. So go ahead and fill this out after this call. We'll get those out to you, and then you can send them back, and then we'll get you those cards. But more importantly, get you the opportunity to make a whole bunch of money. Any questions?
Right on. Thank you.
On the form?
None that are coming in. We have other questions though, so right. I'll wait until the end.
Move forward to the questions.
Okay. Well, great. Right on. Well, thank you. One of the questions is this the same warranty that you get from a dealership? And I don't know, maybe you can speak on, the insurance versus warranty or pricing, yep. Retail versus wholesale or something like that,
So, and that is a really good question. The products that are sold by auto dealerships are typically service contracts, which go under the terminology of auto warranty. Those auto warranties are different in the sense of the obligor is typically the either the dealership or the company that's providing that warranty coverage. They have an insurance company in some cases that would back them in the event of insolvency, which is how they sell their clients, that it is in some cases backed by an insurance company. The big difference between that product and our product is you have to be a licensed agent. So most dealerships are not going to have a licensed agent that are selling this product. So it is a big differentiator there. And what that means to your customers is QBE, who's underwriting this policy, they're not only underwriting it, but they're paying the claims. So they would have the same governance as any insurance product, you know, with the insurance commission and requirements as far as financial stability. And so in the case that I had talked about earlier with the extended warranty, where they say it's backed by an insurance company, if that particular warranty company goes bankrupt, if they sell more policies and or they have more outgo than they do income to pay the claims coming in, you'll see them typically fold up. And then if they are insured, that insurance company comes in behind them and pays pennies on the dollar. So the customer really isn't protected like they would be with an MBI product such as this. Does that answer? Hopefully that answers the question.
Yeah, I think that's great. Are there different, you know, you quoted at a 12-month term. What other different terms are available?
Yeah, so depending on the type of vehicle and the coverage, there's a multitude of different terms. The customer can lock in their rate from anywhere from 1 year to 7 years, depending on the age of the vehicle and the mileage of the vehicle. There is no mileage restrictions, and I think I missed that part back in the beginning. So if they do a policy with us, and let's say it's a 1-year policy, and they have 90,000 miles, and they drive the heck out of that vehicle, and you know, put 140,000, drive it to 140, 150,000 miles, there is no mileage restriction within that coverage period.
Okay, and there's a couple questions, basically the same question. One is it accepted everywhere? And another is, you know, if you go on a road trip, like kind of an all states question, right? If you go on a road trip and you buy it in California, go on a road trip in Colorado, you break down, will a shop be able to fix it in Colorado? Those types of questions.
Yeah, so it's accepted because of Good Sam's size and because it is underwritten by QBE. There's a number of shops that accept it as direct payment. If it's one that isn't in our authorized or pre-approved service center, you would just call in as with any claim. The pre-approved shops are going to know to call in to our claims department, let them open the claim and let them know what's broken and what needs to be covered, and have that process started. If it's a shop that you break down in a state or in an area that doesn't happen by chance to have an approved shop, you would basically go through the same process, call in, let them know what the warranty work is, and then we would set up to either pay that shop direct or have the customer pay, and then we reimburse the customer. It would really come down to whatever that particular shop would be willing to accept. But I can tell you there is all across the U.S., all 50 states and Canada, we have probably the vast majority of RV service centers, the large ones, and a large number of dealerships, including Ford, Lincoln, the FCA brands, so Chrysler, Dodge, Ram. If they have any of those products, they'd be able to take it in and have the shop direct bill it to us.
Okay. Let's see. So, group of agents, right? They're asking if we can offer to our current clients personal lines, and one also asked is commercial available? In other words, for their light commercial power passenger cars that are titled in a company name.
So commercial is coming, Dwight. So that one's, in fact, Scott and I are in England next week with QBE going through that to come up with a commercial for light usage as you just described, but currently it's personal use.
Okay. What terms are good? Web links. Is there a web link available that embeds the agent's code that the agent can use, like on their website, or to send in an email?
So what they'll get is there'll be a URL that'll go to a vendor login, which just sits right in front of that page where I took through the quote. So they'll put their user ID and password and then log in. And I believe after they do it once, if they want, it'll store it, and then it just goes to the quote page. But then it's specific to them. Anything that happens on that they become the source of lead. So as they complete a quote, it'll be stored in there under their username.
Right, but if they wanted to send that same login screen to one of their current customers, if it's a licensed agent sending it to a customer for them to click on and put the information in, is there a way to pass the agent's login information or agent's information, or does that maybe go directly to the call center, or how's that work?
So let me qualify that just a little bit. Would they be passing it to a non-licensed agent, or would this be passing it to another insurance licensed agent?
Yeah, so maybe we can take it offline, but it sounds like he wants to email his clients a link to the Good Sam rating site. So it's his client, right? Yeah, that kind of thing.
Let me get back to you on that one and see how we could, because I understand the question. I think it's a great idea. Let me follow up with you, Dwight, on that, and then you can send that answer back out.
Okay, and the same person has a question about maybe a offline paper app. So maybe we can work on that together as well. And Mike, I'll follow up by email also.
Yeah, and that might be, and actually that might be a great, I'll follow up an email about the link, but that might be the best way to do it, is just send a quick, one pager around the vehicle type so they could create the quote and then follow back up. But I will, I'll follow up with you and the group on the answer to that.
Okay, thank you. Well, we have some other questions, very similar questions. Maybe we'll take one more. Do you use original equipment manufacturing parts and for the repair? That's
a great question, and I believe we do. Let me validate that, and I apologize. That should be a very simple question to answer. I joined the company under Scott in December, so let me just verify before I answer, but I do believe the answer is yes, but I will follow up with you on that.
Well, right on. Well, thank you so much, Paul, and Frank, thanks, for your time too. This next thing on the screen, it's the top 10 reasons to choose Tuniacs. All the things we've talked about, carriers A+15 rated, both the carriers, both Hartford and QBE on the ESP side. Our underwriters are knowledgeable and they turn around the quotes fast. We have online quoting for both the ESP product as well as an online application for the Tuniacs business owner's policy. The top commissions paid, 21% for the ESP and 15% for the property casualty side. There are also additional higher level tiers on the property casualty if we get there. And we have industry specific premium credits, industry leading BOP, comp, auto, all those forms are top of the line forms offered by the Hartford. This specialty coverage, the garage operations, garage keepers are both at policy limits. Faulty work and defective products, 100% of the repair cost is paid if our insured does the repair. The auto services stretch is available, giving all the extra coverages. No additional supplemental application is required for quoting, and this is one of the only programs that I know of that we can use the ESP product to drive additional traffic and income to the customer. So I'd like to thank everybody for attending. Again, thank you, Scott and Paul Frank and Paul for presenting. And
you can call me Scott.
Staying on the phone and answering all the questions.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thanks, everybody.
Absolutely. We really appreciate it.
go do some business.
All right, so some people are logging off, but I'll get on and put the follow-up email together. Copy you guys in for your approval and then get it out.
Great.
Thank you, Dwight.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Okay, bye-bye.